I need to winterize this boat. But there's two problems with that. One, I'm lazy. And two, I've never done this before. Well, that second part isn't exactly true. I did live in this boat all last winter, and I was lazy then too. My way of winterizing it was to install this bilge heater. That was in the water in Virginia, and when I was there, it was a little colder than it is here in North Carolina. And when it got really cold, below 20 degrees, I had to put a second heater in here, but nothing froze, and I was good. Now, it's a beautiful day today. It's almost 75 degrees out. It's hard to believe that tomorrow night, it's going to get down to 31 degrees. And if it was just going to get down to 31 degrees, I wouldn't be doing this. However, the next day, it's going to drop to freezing and reach about 27, maybe colder. And it's going to be below freezing for about 8 hours. So that warrants winterizing this boat. But the house, way over there, and I'm not going to run a long little extension cord for this bilge heater because I'll overheat the extension cord. And I'll use a lot of electricity because we're leaving for the weekend, so I don't want it sitting out here on. And I also don't want to get down here and pop all the petcocks and take these hoses off because, again, like I said, I'm lazy. So I've got an idea. We're going to build it for cheap. I've already got all the parts here, so you should be able to do this at home. And then I'm going to drain the water tank, the air conditioner, because this has an AC system. This silver and gold thing down there is the pump for the AC, so that needs to be flushed out. Apparently it flushes out backwards. We're going to do that real quick, the air compressor, and then we're going to run a little pink stuff through the water lines. We only need a few things to get this project done. A bit of butyl tape. Well, of course I forgot to hit record, but I just quickly fired it up. And hard to see here, but got some nice pink fluid coming out of the back. So we have done what we came here to do. And that ran almost 3 gallons through. So here's my setup. This is just actually a through hull that I had laying around. I was trying to figure out what I was going to run through here. But I was like, hey, I got a through hull in the boat that's too small. So it's got a through hull here. And I used some butyl tape that I had laying around to seal it up. And then this hose I bought thinking I could use for when I was parked in the marina as a short drinking water hose. And I said, I'm going to just cut the end off. It's like a 5-foot hose. So 5-foot hose, cut the end off there, and just use the hose clamp. And this cracked Rubbermaid, that's some Turnabond patch in a hole. It's just an old clear Rubbermaid. You could probably pick these up for very cheap at Walmart. And that's it. And I ran it down to the muffs. And unfortunately, the camera didn't record. But yeah, I turned it on, and it pulled almost 3 gallons through and into the engine. And spitting pink out the bottom, a little bit of pink out here. So I think we are going to be fine for this beautiful winter passage as far as the engine goes. But now we need to dump a gallon into our freshwater fill. Let's do the air conditioner first. So the air conditioner, I know for a fact, there are 2 through holes here. 2 through holes. This one is the outlet for the sump, and this one is it's kind of going upward, so it's going to be a pain. Let's see if I got something I can do this with, but this one is not going to be as easy as I thought. I need to put pink in here and then blow it out with the air nozzle. So my solution for this is my fluid extractor. Let's see if we can't. So right here is the input for that, where it pulls the water in. Just going to use this nozzle hooked to a compressor that I've already pumped up, and so that worked pretty good. I came back and I refilled it a little bit one time. It takes about a third of this tool, this extractor, before it starts leaking out of the through hole. But then I just went 1, 2, 3, and then obviously tried not to push too much air pressure through that because it's going to go through the coils of the air conditioner. I came back and filled it up and did it again. And yeah, as you saw, pretty good stream of water there. So now I'm going to pump some water into here. This head has barely been used. The seacock has been closed for quite some time down below the boat, so I know there's nothing in there. All right, I think that's good. Like I said, I think in the last 10 years this thing's been used twice, maybe. No number twos, no 15 years, almost, something like that. So yeah, that should pump the pink through the hose, and once it gets past this valve here, I'm not too concerned because that other hose and the hose going back to the tank is a pretty big tank, pretty big hose. So now turn the pump back on. I do wish, so I put 1.5 gallons in the tank. I do wish I had put 5 gallons, run 5 gallons through the engine. I think that would have been better. And 3 gallons into this tank, but let's see what we got here. Get to the pink. Because one problem this is going to have is, these lines run pretty far, and the lines themselves have quite a bit of volume. So what you're looking at is, quite possibly 1 gallon of water in the lines, but yeah, it turned pink pretty quick. Kind of happy with that. Now this one. There we go, it's pink. The good thing is that pink will go into those drains. Actually, these drains don't have P-traps. So. And then this is the last one. I have never used this, but I'm going to go ahead and put water in it anyway. I replaced this pump. I made a video, but I never posted. Never really tested this thing. I guess I should go see if some pink came out of the side, huh? Yeah, living in the marina, I never use this shower. So now in an RV, you're going to want to pour this down there because they have P-traps, but no P-traps here. I know my bilges are good. They're not going to freeze. Got 2 sinks. One more. I'll turn this back on, and we'll get one last fitting here. This outdoor shower. We do not want to forget it. And you might notice I'm only doing the cold water. And there's a reason. There we go. It's already pink. Pink. That's it. But I'll admit, if you came here to critique, you probably already critiqued me. There are a few things that I haven't done. There are a few things you're saying, hey, you forgot. Let's start with the engine. First, when a lot of people winterize the engine, and I've heard a couple people say, look, this is the first time I've done it. I watched a few videos and I'm doing it. So I'm total DIY. They say you're supposed to fog the cylinders. There's some fog spray. You take off the top of the carb there. While it's running, you spray it in there while it's hot, and it lubricates the cylinder walls. Yeah, I don't know. I might take this out to show if somebody wants to sell it. So I may be back on the water pretty soon. But I'll tell you that it has, I already put a lot of stabilizer in this since I didn't run it over the last year. I just started up every couple months. So it's already got quite a bit of stabilizer to fuel ratio. So I think that's already got my fuel treatment and the carb treated. So that's why I didn't do that in this, because I've already done that. This thing came with less than with a quarter tank of gas, and it's even lower than that now. It's like, yeah, it's like an eighth of a tank, maybe less than that. So I'm not worried about that. It's got a lot of stabilizer in there. We're good to go. The other thing is the water heater. So the water heater is already bypassed. That got a rust hole this winter and started leaking. It was actually still working, just leaking. So I bypassed it already. It's already empty because there's a hole in the bottom. So there's nothing to drain there. So there's two things you could do. One, you could get 4 or 5 gallons. You could, because that's, I'm not sure if that's 5 to 7 gallons. So you might even need more than that. But what some people do in their RVs is they'll run the hot water tap and let the pink go into the hot water, the water heater, and fill it up. Most say, and there's easy ways to bypass it there. A lot of people say to bypass it, and that's what you want to do, because while this stuff is biodegradable, it's kind of nasty. It kind of stinks. I don't like it. And when it gets in the tank in the water heater, it kind of stays in there and it'll have a smell. So if you're not drinking water, especially the hot water, and cooking with it, most people just bring bottles of water. You're probably going to be just fine. So that's why I didn't do the water heater. But everything else I did. Like I said, I would have liked to do maybe 5. I think 5 gallons would have been better than the 3 that I ran through this, because it was coming out pink, but not a whole lot, but enough. So, and it sucked it in fast. So I think we're good enough there. And again, it's only going to be 28 degrees for like 7 or 8 hours. So it's going to be 45. So I think it's going to take 3 or 4 or 5. It may only be freezing in this engine compartment for a couple of hours before the temps rise again, because this boat does retain heat pretty well. So I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. But if I need to do this again, I'm going to run 5 gallons through it. I'm going to keep that bucket I built. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully this is a quick video. I'm going to make it as quick as possible. Cut out all the fluff. Like, subscribe, the bell that does something that's free, and I'll catch you on the next one.